Didi, Tati.
I know you're gonna dig this.
You remember Senegal? But you can listen to God. Did you work yo but I can't
Language Seminar afforded me the opportunity to visit a fellow stage mate in a not too distant village. Prior to my departure, I didn't think too much on the week-long seminar. Life has taught me to be present in the here and now as much as possible. In departing towards my destination about an hour away, I had very little thoughts on what was to be expected. Throughout the transit, I simply observed the tranquil and seemingly untroubled environment / way of life. Upon arriving, I observed the many individuals, young and distinguished, who were illuminated / elated to see me. They greeted me as though I had returned from a long journey abroad, which has some depth and truth to it, but I digress. I too was excited to see everyone and everything. I had never really experienced life from a village perspective before. All this I would have seen from the perspective of mainstream media from time to time, but now it was time for me to see such a reality face to face, firsthand, formulating my own perspective. For the first day, I didn't do much talking at all. I just took in my surroundings, the mannerisms, the many diverse and different personalities / communication styles. Not long after I arrived, I was asked through a third party if I couldn't speak. I smirked because by tomorrow that answer would be given firsthand through my interactions. I love expressing myself. I love substantive discourse, and at times I can be too much to those who can't keep up. Oh, how I did smirk. The only setback would be the fact that those to be interacted with speak the language which I came to village to further learn, and speaking English is slightly out of the question. After having a few hours pass by, in addition to what I know from speaking to other stage mates, I am confident in stating that no two experiences are ever the same, especially within two different work sites / living quarters. It's almost as though such circumstances are unique as a fingerprint. What may look generic from a distance will most likely shatter once closer observation is pursued. The village way of life is very similar, I've found, in many respects to my experiences growing up Caribbean. Very similar in the aspect of family structure, communication, chores, laughter, and many other things that you'd reminisce about when it comes to family. Despite the way of life being simple / basic relative to what many may know, there is a genuine sense of community / togetherness here within the village. The sense of calmness that lingers, once honed into, can connect you back to parts of you that have been silenced. Few will likely understand the feeling and environment, but for those who do, it's an experience to be had. Language classes were about 4 to 5 hours a day, with cultural assignments to reinforce what was learned. This time around, language acquisition had become a lot easier to build on, seeing that I had about 3 months of exposure to it at my permanent site, in addition to the 3 months of language acquisition during our training phase. It was a productive feeling to be able to communicate to the village in an Asian language, to see the expressions of joy and change of emotions real time, the sentences formed and spoken. I definitely grow from interactive learning experiences, and the interactions were fertile to say the least. Language classes were a fraction of the intensity that usually accompanied classes of the past, but still substantial and informative. It also took place in the month which Ramadan occurred. To explain succinctly, Ramadan is a time of hunger striking as a way to connect close with God or the universe. I personally did not fast, but others in the language class fasted, so that could be why classes this time around were more on a relaxed notion. This time was also around the beginning of the long stretch of rainy season and all that comes along with it. I know in the Caribbean we experience inclement weather. I'd say a balanced dosage, but here it's unlike anything I've experienced before. Rainy season is exactly what it sounds like. Heavy rainfall for several months for hours at a time. Before the onset of a single raindrop, nature has her prelude. All rainfalls are introduced by gusts of wind so strong that when it arrives, mother, child, and even baby goat get situated for what's coming next, that wet and wild main event. The downpours I experienced while at village were usually after language classes or late evenings that led into the AM. However, that's not what captivated me the most while on my visit. The village thunder and lightning storms is what had me transfixed with delight. I'll paint the scene for you of a wall so high I needed a lift to surmount it. Upon securing myself a front seat, the backdrop featured a massive baobab tree that helped set this cinematic scene to be seen. The lightning thunder show was orchestrated as though being played on some sort of classical piano. It drowned out concerned voices yelling in native language, "Come down, is your friend okay? Come down before you fall." They just don't understand that I can't experience this sort of marvel if I travel an hour back from the direction in which I came. I live in the city. Too many illuminated buildings that take away the true potency of such a night sky performance. I'll be fine, village lady. I'll be done in a few. But until then, please let me be. That grandiose occurrence was a great addition and conclusion to a beautiful and informative week of language acquisition follow-up. Much was learned, plenty was received, numerous senses and emotions were in receipt of new stimuli. It was a much needed experience and perspective. I've noticed a lot of stage mates love coming to the city where I live to unwind and relax. But as of now, it's become quite the reverse for me. For the first time in a long time, the absence of the city's hustle and bustle alongside artificial luminescence has created something I didn't know I was missing. A particular peace of mind alongside a new cool and calm collectiveness/appreciation of nature and her elements. A true and economical reset from this grassroots lifestyle. A new living experience that encompassed a welcome reserved for a king. And to think, all of this was just 1 hour away.